It's time for history to be made. The first ever CCL Academy Grand Finals. My name is Seymour. Alongside me is Cruz. We're going to be your casters for the end of the show. And it's an exciting one as well, Jesse. We get a rematch from the winners final.
And what a great winners final it was. Definitely had the potential to go 5 maps. So I think that just kind of goes to show you heading into this one, we really have a potential for possibly a bracket reset. 2 best of 5s. It could end in 1. It could end in 3 maps. Who knows? Because both these teams seem very, very evenly matched.
Both these teams evenly matched, fighting through the dark all year long. Their time to shine in the grand finals. Let's shine some light on them, Jesse. Let's look at the head-to-head between them. We got the St. Edward Hilltoppers versus the Kennesaw State Owls. I'm excited for these two teams, not only because it's a rematch, Jesse, but in that first one, how close some of those maps were. It's reflected right in their series record.
Yeah, and you can take your look at it right now. It's very clear. We got the best team from the West going up against the best team from the East right now. They played each other for the first time this season inside of our winners finals, where it was a 3-1 victory for St. Edwards. If you didn't end up watching that, they took both hard points. They took a control. The search and destroy very much so went Kennesaw State University's way. So, I mean, it was a fairly even, I think, inside of the last hard point, but I think that for the most part, when you're looking at these two teams, St. Edwards, it looked like they had kind of the favor inside a hard point, like Kennesaw had the favor inside the search and destroy. So in all honesty, our whole series today could really well end up being decided by that control.
It is, Jesse. Before I move on, I want to dip a little bit farther into this bracket and give a huge congratulations for our 3rd and 4th place team, Redbird COD and Brock University. Redbird, your 3rd place, walking away with $700, but Brock University walking away with the $500 in 4th place. And now these two teams, the top 2 teams, fighting for $2,500. And it's exciting. And I think it's about time that we introduce them, Jesse. St. Edwards University Hilltoppers. We got Crook, Combat, Relk, and Fiasco. A team who, honestly, could rival quite a bit of teams out of the academy as well.
Yeah, I think so, right? Like, this team definitely seems like one of those teams that if you put them up against even some of our main teams, they could definitely be a very good team. Rauk was looking really, really good all the way through that whole winners finals. I think the player I'm most interested about, though, is Combat. The fact that he went from pretty much having his way inside of map 1 of our winners finals to going, 0-7 inside of the second map and only dropping 36 damage inside of that Berlin search and destroy. I think that's really interesting. So we'll have to see if he can turn it up inside of the S&D inside of this series.
Across the field from them, Jesse, the best from the West, you're looking at Kennesaw State University. And when we're looking at their roster to introduce them, beloved O-Rose Outlaw Gizmo. And to highlight it most, Jesse, you're looking at Outlaw, fan-voted MVP of the Academy year.
Yeah, and he's well-deserved of it. He's been playing great all season long. And honestly, from the maps that we've been seeing this team be able to take off of, when we saw them take the maps off of the likes of Illinois State University, it really felt like they were playing a very well-rounded effort. There was really no players standing out like as that major standout player, maybe Outlaw a few times here and there. The only other thing that I can really look back and say confidently inside of that series was when they had an opportunity to take the control, I was really sitting there just wondering why O-Rose was laying down the entire time inside of that gap when they were going for that 5th and final round. So hopefully we get a little bit better of a team effort inside of that map in particular if we end up seeing that one come through. But outside of that, I think that this team has been very, very solid for a lot of the season.
No, you and I, we're going to have our little bit of time to nitpick that down the line, especially inside of this series. So once we get there, I'm sure excited to see if Kennesaw State have made those adjustments. But let's take a look at the maps and see what we're going to get, Jesse, for this best of 5, because we're starting off on the most perfect icebreaker you could get for a grand finals. A double dose of Bocage followed by a Tuscan Control, a Berlin Hardpoint in map 4, and if this goes to a map 5, you're looking at the Desert Siege Search and Destroy, something that, I mean, has become one your and mine favorite map 5 to see.
Yeah, and it is because of how kind of like weird that map can play sometimes, right? It's really a good map to just be a even map between two teams where it's just a map that was barely played through a lot of the season. So when you come to it at the end, it really makes it, whoever's better at the map will stand out and show how much better they are on that map. So that's why I love to see a Desert Siege come through. You can get a lot of randomness on a lot of the other maps. But we're going to Bokash first, and there's a really interesting talking point that I want to bring up about this Bokash hardpoint. And it was really highlighted well by Corn and Cash when they were on the desk earlier on today. They thought they were going to Bokash for their map 4. They ended up going to Berlin, but they were talking about it, and they said that this map could be a really good answer for Kennesaw State University simply because of just how crazy and rambunctious this map could be. They weren't able to take a hard point off of the likes of St. Edwards when it was those two kind of fundamental maps in Tuscan and in Berlin. So this might just be the answer that they need to find a respawn off of St. Edwards.
And you and I, when we were sitting behind the scenes, we noticed how much Kennesaw State could thrive when it does come down to those high-octane, high-pressure situations. I mean, you saw it both inside the controls when it was tight-knit corridors. Kennesaw State, they almost clutched up countless times. So right there with you, Jesse. Right there with Cash and Corn. I think that this Bokash map has the chance to lead Kennesaw State to a victory to open up this series. And it's one of those things that we were also talking about, that it's almost a situation where Kennesaw State, they almost need to find a respawn here because the search and destroys have looked fantastic, but the respawns haven't been the same.
Yeah, and we were talking about that before we came into this inside of the virtual green room. We were basically like, what are keys to victory right now for Kennesaw State University? We saw how St. Edwards was able to get their victory earlier on today. For them, keys to victory, probably plug and replace, right? You just need to take your respawns. You should be good. Simple as that. But when you look at Kennesaw State University, it was like, what did they need to do? And I don't think that it's going to be the answer inside of the hard points. I think the answer needs to be in control. We've seen this team twice on stream today. Both times they go to round 5 of control. Both times they lose it in very optimal situations where they have a chance to win it. The first map was inside of that Berlin control. They got the harder point first, weren't able to get secured into the second point. Even when they got a break, they got broken right back immediately from St. Edwards. There's a really good opportunity to be able to close that map out there and force them to go to that map 5 into the Desert Siege, which you would have thought St. Edwards would be uncomfortable on because of how they looked inside of the first search and destroy. And then the second one being inside of the map against ISU. And in that map, they were looking great there as well. And it was looking like they were going to be able to capture the zone inside of that final round. But unfortunately, I just did not feel like there was that full 4-man unit fighting inside of that final 4v4 fight.
And you have to be thinking, Jesse, I mean, it's heartbreaking to watch, but I can imagine how heartbreaking those were to play and lose for Kennesaw State. So going into this control, I'm very, very enthused to see if they've made those adjustments and clutch up this time, because literally one gunfight away from changing the whole pace of a series. It could have spelled a difference for how this whole bracket has turned out today, but both St. Edwards and Redbird COD clutch up those situations, and it's shown quite the exploit for the Owls. But folks who are tuning in, a little bit of a fun fact for you. St. Edwards University, the Hilltoppers, their chance here not only to win out inside of the Academy League, but they also have the chance to win out in both the Academy League and the main league, and they're the only team from the CCL to have that chance, and it's quite crazy to think about that.
And I think that just goes to show you how good of a program St. Edwards is running over there right now, right? Like, they have a fantastic main team, which is already qualified for the CCL LAN. But then they've also got a fantastic academy team, which is now with a winner's bracket advantage here inside of our grand finals, which, by the way, finally getting into here. Onto the Bokash hardpoint we go, and the player I'm looking at for the most part here is going to be Combat. He was having his way with KSU during map 1 of the last series.
Are you ready to make history, folks? CCL Grand Finals Academy League. We're already into this first hill. KSU getting quite a bit of time, but you can see that all the attention is going to be around the hill. Player number 5, Crook, looking to go in the overextension, find this one-on-one against Olrose, but Olrose still staying alive, holding on to those next spawns for the Owls, Jesse. He's playing such a pivotal point right now for Kennesaw.
And they're doing a really good job of keeping St. Edwards off the hill right now. Unfortunately, Outlaw will fall. Relk picks up 2 through middle of the map. So now you've got a good opportunity for St. Edwards to get some time here on P1, but also extend across the map. Try to get here into P2. KSU, though, everybody's just backing up. They want to play for the spawns that they have at the moment. They don't want to overextend a little bit too far and find themselves in a rough spot. And this is working out really, really well for them so far. New hill will pop, and St. Edwards has to fight from the front.
It's another big shutdown from Kennesaw State with a win at a Gizmo around the overextension, although the second go around is going to be Combat finding the opening, pulling some attention back, allows Crook to fly on through. Now spawns have flipped out. The Hilltoppers looking to break this into P2, and they are tumbling on in. Combat and Crook, they're going to find 2. Crook now on screen, looking to find a little bit more. Shut down by Olrose around that patio. and it's still uncontested just yet. St. Edwards inside this hill, a dead even game, Jesse. 28 seconds to play for. Looking for a wraparound is going to be Gizmo, although when he gets shut down, Crook's going to find two, and St. Edwards looking like they're going to get the rest of this time.
Oh, yeah, they had to find a way to get Combat out of the little kind of spot that he's in, the contest spot on the opposite side, and not able to find a way to get him out of that spot, and it has now led to allowing Crook to get across the map, almost gets the two-piece in the back of the spawn. That really could have spelled disasters for KSU, but now they're going to be able to stabilize. They can now set up the hold that they want to inside of our Grandma's Hill, and it's really just Combat who's here going to be the first one to attack.
He's going to wait for his teammates to set up. You can see Crook looking for the kill on O-Rose. He's going to find it. That's going to give the go-ahead for Combat to flood into this hill. St. Edwards have Kennesaw trapped. Combat's going to get the eyes on the Beloved. Trades out Fiasco to go down for the Owls. Now the Hilltoppers looking to soak up and push their lead as far as they can. Crook's going to get the trade again inside the hill. Comes St. Edwards. You need to go big here. If your Beloved finds the kill into one, snaps to the second on a Fiasco. Two big kills, but it's still just not enough, Jesse. You're going to need something big out of Kennesaw here if they want to find the break into Grandma's, and they just haven't found it yet.
Oh, but here's a good opportunity still to get this break, and it's going to be O-Rose leading the charge. They find the way to get into the back, and this works out perfectly because St. Edward's still spawning up on the right-hand side. It's going to be harder to make the transition over towards our fourth hill, over towards the barn, and you can see Beloved's already trying to watch the cross here. Will get shots into one, will clean them up, and they should have a flawless transition here from Grandma's over towards P4.
Everybody set up. Another chance for Hilltoppers to have to find the break. Not only inside the hill, but for these spawns. And so far, they've been able to find the kills around the hardpoint. But inside the hardpoint, Fiasco looking to get in. Combat's going to find the kills, although he takes down his teammate. It's going to be 2-for-2 trade. Keeping it even inside of this hill. Is still in control. Owls pushing this lead. We're cutting down this lead ever so slowly. In for the contention is going to be the Hilltoppers. Fiasco's going to take down Beloved. A big answer back at a 2. Combat now into the hill for St. Edwards. What can he get done? He's going to look the wrong way. A little bit of bad timing is making this such a fiasco of itself. And nobody yet to solidify solid control into this hill. It is still neck and neck, Jesse, in a Bokosh. Exactly what you expect, not only in this map, but in a grand final setting.
And not just a grand final setting, a grand final setting between these two amazing teams that we have on broadcast right now. Both teams putting in all the effort at the moment. But really, what it's felt like so far, it felt like KSU has been playing a little bit more fundamentally strong so far, where they're winning a lot of the rotational battles. But St. Edwards, with the gun skill that they have on this team, is doing a great job of being able to fight their way in to a lot of these hills that they're not early setting up for, and still being able to find a lot of time on a lot of these hills. And that's why you're seeing such a close game between these two teams.
You see Fiasco looking to punish. He's going to find Outlaw. Allows Ralk to get the trade onto a second. The break in from the Hilltoppers from the front. Still holding on to this slight lead that they do have. But the better spawns are going to be here for Kennesaw State as they look to flood on and collapse into the hill onto the rest of these St. Edwards players. It's a trade 2-for-2 on either side. O-Rose makes the play. He's going to fly on into this hill. Finds one. But the answer back from the Hilltoppers, Jesse, and it's just been too much to handle. It's going to be 3 the other way. No big job for Gizmo to get done. He finds 2. But that's going to be it. Still keeping out the Hilltoppers from this hill, Jesse, with the lead in favor of St. Edwards.
But that's exactly what that does, though. This lead could have been a lot worse if Gizmo doesn't find that 2-piece, but that 2-piece completely stops St. Edwards from being able to hop in and get any more time inside of that hill. And we are going to be at an exact tie game, Colin, at the end of our first set of rotations, 92-92. But let's not forget, through the first half of the early rotations, it really was St. Edwards that were kind of controlling the pace of the game. So these first 2-3 hills, this is where St. Edwards got majority of their time. It was really a good answer back from KSU in hills 4 and 5 to answer back and tie the game up. So we'll just have to see if that trend will continue itself here in the second set of rotations. And so far, it really has, as St. Edwards is taking control in the middle of the map again.
Big 2 down. Combat goes on 5 in a row. Shut down by a well-placed nade at an Outlaw. And as much as St. Edwards has dominated time in this first hill, you still see Kennesaw State holding on to these better spawns, always able to shut out the Hilltoppers from gaining time inside this first hill, as they've been able to do, Jesse, from time to time across this set of rotations. Now into the second. I want to see a better transition to the second hill once more, because last time around is the Hilltoppers who found a break from the front.
It was, and they're going to have to find a break from the front here once again. It will be, what, a 18-second lead here for St. Edwards as we head into this one. So if they're not able to find a break early onto this, we could very well see a lead change on this hill. Gizmo, you need to win that gunfight there. Won't end up walking away with it, but he has the teammate back, the teammate support. But keep your eyes on player 5 on a massive flank.
Oh, Crook, beloved, what a big read to shut him down. And you see Olros on the front line. He's tearing it up as well as KSU holding onto this hill. We get a little bit of a flip in the lead, Jesse. 125 to 118, now favoring Kennesaw State. Crook once again on a mission. 18 and 18, he's been that guy. Can he get it done? He's going to find a big kill. And the beloved looking to snap onto Rose as well. The hipfire not going to connect, and it's going to continue progression for the Owls. But on the rotation once more, it's going to be the Hilltoppers here to Grandma's first. They're looking to set up. Looking to get in behind. It's Owl, the MVP, fan voted, finds one, but he immediately gets shut down.
It's been the best hold that we have seen all day by far. A nice, pretty much a full 60 for the likes of Kennesaw State University here. You will end up getting a few seconds of scrap time if you're St. Edwards, but basically just took the lead from a 20-point lead for St. Edwards now to a 20-point lead for Kennesaw State University, so a good flip of hills. But now here comes the problem for Kennesaw State. This is the first time they're going to have to go into a fully set up St. Edwards University over at Grandma's.
It'll be 1-for-1 trade. Fiasco finds 2, keeping the numbers in favor of the Hilltoppers with their better spawns. Actually, it's pulled away. Beloved spawning up in the back. Oro is going to get the break. Now it's a chance for Kennesaw State to really flip the script inside this hill. Wreck on a mission. It's going to find Outlaw on the inside of this hill. Now 30 seconds to fight for Owls. Looking to surge on 4 to see if they can get their toes right back into this hill, and they'll be able to. It's 2 kills going their way. The slide on in right into the hands of both players from the Hilltoppers, and they cut them down. They're going to even this one up. And with the last 15 seconds looking to get picked up by this team, they can actually push their lead once more on the rotation. However, you can see Kennesaw State really valuing the rotation over to P4, Jesse, and that's what our eyes are going to be peeled to.
It's going to be absolutely insane, Colin. We're 5 hills in, and it's still just a 10-point game. Or sorry, 7 hills in, and it's still just a 10-point game between these two teams that are going neck and neck, break for break, back and forth on this hill. One thing that we do have to mention, because we are getting to that point of the game, 2 minutes left on the game clock. Got to keep our eye on that. If it stays contested for a long period of time, this very well could go down to the clock.
Oh, snap. Onto Beloved at a Fiasco. 3-point game so far. Looking for the break here, Kennesaw. Outlaw's going to lead the charge on in. Looking over the shoulder is going to be Olros. They find the break. Jesse now in control of the Owls. However, St. Edwards not looking to stay down for too long. Back in for the contention they go. 1-point game out of both teams. Rauk thinking they're spawning up behind them. However, all eyes going to be at the front of the hill. Outlaw's going to get picked on the rotation. In for the contention is going to be Beloved. He's able to find one, but again collapsed on by the rest of the Hilltoppers. And there's 11 seconds looking to get soaked up out of St. Edwards. 175 and counting, Jesse, as we head to the last hill of the second set.
Yeah, that last 10 seconds there could end up being a big 20-second swing in the whole of this entire map. But we'll just have to see once we get towards the end. But that 20-point lead could end up being what makes the difference between KSU and St. Edwards' final scores here. Back to P5 we go, and the last time we came to this hill, really we didn't see any team kind of walk away with a solid amount of time. It was just, you saw St. Edwards fighting from the top, you saw KSU fighting from the bottom, and no team was ever really able to get a solid hold of the hill.
You know what, Jesse, as dead even as this game is, usually you'd see the time clock a lot lower than a minute 43, so there's still a chance that this doesn't go to time. One of these two teams can still end this at a full 250, so this Hill 5, it's going to be a big one for Kennesaw State as they flip this lead once more. In for late contention is going to be Rallick. He finds the break, and some big help coming out from Crook. It's going to be a quick 2 down, make it 3 down, 4 flawless kills out of St. Edwards, and it's a big break to hold the lead.
And that's 3 hills in a row now that St. Edwards has been able to grab the scrap time to keep a little bit of a lead inside of their favor. The lead will still be right around 20 seconds for the likes of St. Edwards University, and we're heading back to 2 hills that they have looked really, really good on. I say that, but it was actually KSU in the second set of rotations that was able to get the full 60 on P2.
And so far, the Hilltoppers, the split kill feed. Kennesaw State is going to be looking to O-Rose for the break from the front. It's going to happen, although look at the spawn. St. Edwards, they flipped them out. It's the first time we've seen this in this first hill, Jesse. And this is going to be a dangerous spot to be in. If you're the Owls, you're going to be to pry these ones back, and they do. So it is a little bit of a scary moment, Jesse, but they still resurface in the better position. Now they need to focus on finding the break and denying some time here from St. Edwards. Crook inside of the barn looking to cut up the rotations, but his teammates die on the inside of that hill, and he's going to fall as well. So it's stabilization at a Kennesaw.
And you can see what St. Edwards is trying to do right now is they're putting so much focus on just trying to get across the map and stopping KSU from being able to get these spawns. Because in the first set of rotations, when they did that, that's where they got a good chunk of their time. But in the second set of rotations, they were never able to get those back spawns. And you saw a full 60 come out from KSU in this exact spot. And so far, nobody's been able to slip the line. Nobody's been able to get through. Now Combat will be the next player to try, and he'll fall as well. This is looking like it could be a very good hold, and KSU can win on this hill.
The Hilltoppers, you need something big here. You can't give it up now when you fought so hard to keep your hard points so fantastic throughout this. It's a break from the front. Fiasco and Relk find 2. 3 down. Now that Rose is dropped. Now it's going to be the beatdown from Relko, though Gizmo's got hands as well. 224 to 214. Still winnable here for St. Edwards. You need to put the pedal to the metal if you're the Owls. Outlaw in for the contention. Shut down by Crook. Holding on tight. Rose is going to have to drop contention for himself as well. But then Combat and Fiasco turn up big. Last chance here for Kennesaw to get into this hill, Jesse, as they need to hop on this for 1 second. Or St. Edwards going to find this one. An Outlaw on screen. He finds 3 in a row. Gizmo a 4th. We're going to Grandma's.
They saved the game, and now we go over to Grandma's, and you've actually gotten a few kills on rotation as well. So St. Edwards shouldn't be able to hop right into this hill right away. In fact, it's going to be KSU that will be the first team in, and now they're going to try to hold St. Edwards on the right-hand side, try to keep them spawning close.
Fiasco needs to go big here. Shot down by Rose. It's a split kill feed back and forth, but still Kennesaw growing their lead. Combat sniffs out Outlaw in the corner. Breaks going to come through. 7 seconds needed from Kennesaw, or from St. Edwards, to make this their own. As they're getting it so mixy from either side, Jesse. Relk is going to have the angle. It's almost a 10-point game for Kennesaw State to find this win. And they're looking to upset St. Edwards as this first map of the series. 5 seconds left, beloved. Looking for Crook. The nade is going to come through, but Fiasco finds 2. 2 seconds for St. Edwards to take this one down. Are you not entertained? This is the grand finals.
250, 245, a absolute barn burner of a map number 1 on Bocage. KSU, they put up the good fight, but it was not enough at the end. St. Edwards, they clutch up. I thought for sure they were about to be put into that spawn trap in the back. It did not look like they were going to be able to get out, and then they find a huge 3-man wipe towards the end of that. They're able to get into the hill, and honestly, I thought that there was still a player from Kennesaw close to be able to break in, or at least try to contest from the top side of the stairs. It looked like they might have stayed up on those steps just 1 second too long, because the slide-in was just a little bit late to go for that final contest. I think they were trying to wait for the rest of the KSU players to get close enough that it wouldn't have just been a slide-in and being killed. So it comes down to milliseconds sometimes, but St. Edwards, they get the job done. Nice little 5-point win there in map 1.
If that doesn't say what we got for a grand finals, Jesse, I don't know what will. I gotta catch my breath after that one. I can imagine what it's like from the player's point of view. But it's a Bocage map 1 and a Bocage we got. Let's take a look at the stats, Jesse. As when you're looking across the board for both of these teams, you can see how much they fought for it. Hearts on the sleeves of these players. They were playing with passion.
I can't look at any one player on either of these two teams either and be like, oh, they messed up, this is their fault, because both teams played honestly so fantastic through a lot of this game. It just, certain teams had strengths on some hills and certain teams had strengths on other hills. The big one that mainly points out to me is KSU on P2 looked to be like it was their hill until St. Edwards finally found a break from the front. On the other side, it really looked like St. Edwards was very good at the Grandma's Hill and at finding a good chunk of time on P1 on a very contest-heavy hill. So that very well could have been where the difference came down to, because I really don't remember a lot of time on P1 going the way of Kennesaw State University. But when you look across the board at these stats, I mean, everybody was doing their job. It was fairly even all the way through. I mean, just look at the damage. It basically frames from 3,600 to 4,200 for every single player. You can't complain for any single player in this map.
And I bet people in chat are like, oh, Outlaw, he got 29 kills. He didn't even break a 30 bomb like the rest in the lobby. Well, pish posh, he got 3,700 damage. He was putting up some kills for his team and really keeping his team alive in a lot of those rotations. So, well-placed game across the board for a lot of these players, Jesse. And what a map 1 we got. You know, I knew this was going to be a close grand final, but I didn't think it was going to be a 5-point game close. Let's take a look at what we got next, because we're not done with the Bocage Blender. It's Bocage for map 2. We're headed to a search and destroy setting now, and If this is going to be like we've seen throughout the rest of these Academy games, Jesse, Kennesaw State should have this in the bag because they look fantastic in this game mode.
They really do. Search and Destroy seems to be their strength. The two games that we've seen on stream today were 6-1 wins on Berlin and a 6-2 win on Berlin. So not surprised at all not to see a Berlin come through inside of the map picks and bans here. But instead we get the Bocage. And you know what? Honestly, I could still see this team being a very strong Bocage Search and Destroy team. They just seem to know exactly what they want to do in a lot of these rounds with the bomb. Once they get it down, the post-plant setups are very, very strong for Kennesaw State University. And they had their way with St. Edwards during the winners finals inside of Search and Destroy. So hopefully to get us into a little bit longer of a grand finals here, Kennesaw State University can extend this one out by taking the Search and Destroy here, tying us up at 1-1 and at least forcing us to see that game number 4. But Colin, I think that Bocage hardpoint, I think it just kind of goes to prove our point that Kennesaw State University inside of respawns, they need a more scrappy map to be able to go up against the likes of St. Edwards University. And it really did show prevalence there in how close of a score that we had. That does worry me a little bit, though, when we see that Berlin hardpoint coming through for the 4th one, because it is not a very scrappy hill at times. It can really kind of turn into one of those maps that you can just hold on to a very large chunk of time.
I really like Bocage for map 1, Jesse. I call it the icebreaker because it really shows the best out of both teams. When they're really put into a cage to fight against each other, you really get to see deep down what kind of a core you have against them. And you know, both of those teams, they fought so well against each other inside of that map, and it makes me excited to see, you know, what we get if this does go to another hard point over onto a Berlin, to see if Kennesaw, you know, can maybe adjust some things in their fundamentals and match St. Edwards once again in a hard point. But, you know, I'm going to say it, you know, as we're looking at the Search and Destroy, as we're down into this game number 2, I'm going to point it out right away. If you're going to take down Kennesaw State in a Search and Destroy, you have to look at Combat to not put 36 damage on the board. He has to be the player that you're looking at going into this map number 2. He was 0-7 back when these two teams met in the winners finals, and you can't get that same match from him. And you imagine that he's not going to get the same match because that is very uncharacteristic scoreline to put up for a player. 36 damage just doesn't happen very often.
For how well he plays in the respawns, it was very surprising to me to see that score line come through inside of the Search and Destroy. But you know what? It was Berlin. Maybe just found a couple bad routes here and there. And as a submachine gun player like he is, maybe just had a hard time being able to find a success on that map. Well, you know what? We're going to Bocage now, and Bocage is a submachine gun paradise. If you can find your way into one of those small little rooms to take a one-on-one, I feel like a lot of times you're going to see Combat walk away with that one-on-one victory. Very, very good in those close-range gunfights. So definitely could see this map playing a little bit more into Combat's hand. Now, that's not saying St. Edwards is going to come out and steamroll this map, because we have seen Kennesaw State look fantastic in S&D so far here throughout the day. So it's really going to be kind of who shows up here on this map. Will we see a better performance out of St. Edwards, or are we going to see Kennesaw State University walk out and do the exact same thing they did in the winners finals and just absolutely smoke St. Edwards off the map?
That's the big question, and I think the folks in the chat are going to be thinking the same thing. They're like definitely going to be looking at this like St. Edwards. They're the best team right now. They 3-1 Kennesaw State back in the winners finals, and I bet they're looking to end this, you know, quickly, to have a quick night, you know, to get things over with and to walk away as the champions in the Academy League. But I don't think that's going to be the case, Jesse. When we came into this, you and I, we said this has the potential to go the distance to a Game 5. We looked at that Desert Siege, and we said that is a potential for this series, because how close Kennesaw likes to battle it out. Now, when I'm looking into a Search and Destroy from them, what I love so much about this Kennesaw State team is that every single time the odds are stacked against them in a search, they somehow find a way to make it happen. And you're looking at your MVP, fan voted for the Academy League Outlaw to make it happen. The submachine gun player of this team, he just sometimes has that magic to him that makes something out of nothing.
He really leads the way inside of Search and Destroy, especially. And I mean, maybe not in terms of total score, but just the presence that he has on the map, the way that he's able to command the way that these KSU players walk around this map, the way that they play together off each other's backs. It really does show just how well of a oiled machine this Kennesaw State University team is when it comes to Search and Destroy. And both S&Ds that we've seen them win today, almost even stat line across all 4 players. So just as good as Outlaw is, the other 3 players on this team really have been stepping it up to the plate, especially in S&D. They're not the best team from the East during the regular season for no reason. This team is very good at search and destroy, and unfortunately, it just seems like in terms of hardpoint, they've met their match. But that's not saying that they can't come out here inside of this series, take maps 2, 3, and 5, and force the second best of 5.
I hope you guys at home cooked a big old bowl of popcorn because the entertainment is nowhere close to be finished. Into the game 2 we go. And already an aggressive play on a Crook. He's going to get in there, find Beloved again, and well out of there, tucks into the barn. And that's not just a first blood, Jesse. That's bomb down.
That's a crazy first push, and he's not done yet. Kruk will find 2, maybe even find 3 here. No, Outlaw from the top will get him, and now it will be a 2v3. KSU still needs to recover that bomb. Oh, and Fiasco has a sniper.
That's a heavy hit to take from Crook early on. I'm pretty sure Gizmo literally just grew wings on that kill because he flew out there. When you're looking at this, you see Outlaw, automaton in hand, has picked up the submachine gun off of either a fallen comrade or Crook, who hand-delivered it to him. But he's going to recover this bomb. Now looking to edge their way over to this A site. You still have Fiasco with that sniper on this God Tank Heady. And it's going to be dangerous opponent to be going up against, especially if you're putting that bomb down. A one-shot from this Car 98 could really shake things up for your team. You only have 22 seconds to make this happen. And it looks like they're going to make the late rotation over to B, Jesse.
Yeah, it does, but unfortunately Gizmo will get spotted out by Relk, and now it's just Outlaw all by themselves. They do at least have the bomb in hand, but getting this bomb down at either side is going to be really, really tough. And with 5 seconds left, it won't even happen here inside of the round. Just trying to see if they can find a few kills here, but Outlaw not getting anything from the St. Edwards players, and they're going to walk away with the first round on the board.
I swear he was just chasing shadows that whole round. Every single time we were looking at Outlaw, he was always chasing somebody's X-ray through the wall, and I know he can't see it, but we can, and he was so close to finding some of those kills, Jesse. But a big round of St. Edwards, and it's all off of the back of Crook's heroic rush right down the mid.
Kind of felt like KSU off the start of that round was a little bit scared to take map control, and then through the mid part of that round, they were scared to challenge a little bit of the challenge, the big money positions that you can find yourself in on the defense here. So need to keep our eyes out on that. Might need to see a little bit more confidence coming in from the KSU boys. But yes, that absolutely deserved Fiasco in a great spot to find first blood here.
Well, Outlaws takes down Crook again, going a little bit of a solo dolo mission into enemy lines. There's going to be a bomb down here from combat if Overrose doesn't chase this, but Beloved's going to peek on out. He's going to find not one, but 2, and Fiasco as well may have missed that sniper shot, and that sometimes is going to be the bane of his existence. You're now looking at Relic to pull things back with 48 seconds left. Turns a 1v4 into a 1v3. Look, his eyes on Outlaw as well. He's got his goggles on, Jesse, to see that.
Outlaw going back to the protection of the tank at the back of the spawn, says he wants absolutely nothing to do with those long-range shots from Relk there. And Relk might actually catch good timing here on a Gizmo. Will makes it now a 1 versus 2. This would be a 1v4 if he's able to clutch this up.
27 seconds. How much does Relk want to make happen? He's on 3 in a row. Perfect start to this series. So how much does he want to invest into this round? The bomb is down right on that patio. He's going to have to pick it up, get it down, and find not just 1, but 2 kills into the round. It seems like he's just going to pick this one up. Rose looking at the exit is going to give away Relk's position in Ottawa, or Outlaw is going to peek on up, put him down, and put KSU on the board.
He's not going to know this, but he actually caught the perfect timing at the end of that round there. He got into the site without being noticed by Outlaw. And the other player that was watching wrapped off site. That was the player that he shot inside of the back, inside of Grandma's. If he doesn't shoot there, if he just plants the bomb, it's a free plant. Could get that down, could watch it from the back of barn. But unfortunately, he doesn't have all the information, could not see that he caught literally the perfect timing. And wasn't able to get the I mean, it's always hindsight at that point, right? But it's just that would have been amazing if he found that timing there, and it very much so would have led to just being a very interesting round for St. Edwards. But nonetheless, you get a tie game now at 1-1 in KSU, looking to get a little bit more aggressive through middle of the map here, but it has very much so halted ever since they pushed up.
St. Edwards earlier, they said we don't want to go down 0-5 like we did in that Berlin, and that play from Crook, you really saw that he was looking to put a little bit of fear in the eyes of Kennesaw State. And Crook now switches to the auto, looking for an early pick at range. Almost finds it through the walls, going to bust on through, but Beloved says, no, can't do, sir. That is under the watch of myself. And he's going to send him packing. 43 seconds into the round. Bomb now rotating back over to the team as it looks like all 4 players of Kennesaw State want to go to A.
Crook makes it away with 2 HP there. Beloved makes it away with 10. Both players one shot like crazy. but nobody able to find that first blood yet. But Crook finally, and again 2 HP, escapes with his life. It looks like Beloved wants to try to chase this. Will get the trade. Now needs to get this bomb down.
Number still for Hilltoppers as Combat's going to find O-Rose. Oh, everybody set up to take this down now. Last alive is going to be Beloved with the bomb, and as his team drops around him, there's a little bit of panic in his mind. He says, I don't know what to do. Gonna pick up this bomb, see if I can find at least a trade, but Combat's gonna put him 6 feet under as he is gonna put another round on the board for St. Edward's Academy.
Yeah, it's a good round there as well. Another big defensive win here. So very well could be whoever takes the first offense inside of this map could be able to be the team that ends up walking away. And I feel like on Bocage often that is the way that it happens to be. Just have to wait and find out. But so far, it feels like maybe the St. Edward's offenses have been a little bit better. We'll have to wait here to see through the second round as well to see if we get a little bit of consistency through a lot of these rounds. Combat should be able to catch Gizmo on the cross here, but no, Gizmo absolutely gives him the work.
A hop's gonna jump. It's gonna be a first blood at a Gizmo. He made it look easy, Jesse, and Beloved's gonna just fly forward. He says, I'm going to take these into my own hands. I can do it myself. And Fiasco, with a sniper in hand, he's making a very egregious play. All the way into the enemy spawn. He's going to be hunted down by Outlaw. Once again, leaving Ralk last alive. And it seems like he's going to... I think he's going to take a dip off the edge, but you cannot climb that fence.
I think he was trying to, and the fence said, no, you shall not.
No. You shall not pass.
There'll be no jumping off the map here today. So Ralk just going to set up in the spawn for 40 seconds here. And I don't think that Roke will be moving at any point in time.
This is cinema right here.
Ryan Switchy, everybody. Absolutely love those free cams. Out of the man. And
24 seconds left.
He is not moving here, Colin.
He knows what he has to do, and it is sit and wait. Don't feed any streaks to the rest of this team. Just big chillin' in the spawn. Kennesaw State, though, they have really turned things around on their own defenses, Jesse. They haven't allowed St. Edward's to do anything at all for their offense, and that's why we're sitting 2-2. You can really see that the passive plays out of Kennesaw really valued on defense.
Yeah, it works really well on defense, but on offense, not working well for them at all. So look to see them make a little bit of a pacing change here. 2 offenses in, both times being very, very passive, going over towards that A side. I would imagine we see a little bit more of a team aggressive push this time through, just to either side, honestly, just to change things up a little bit, because so far the game plan has not worked out over towards that A side, playing it passively.
Ooh. Love it. For the cook. Pretty home. It's going to be a default setup for St. Edward's with a 1-2-1 split between each of them, and it's going to be a first blood at a Crook on that tank, naded out for the trade. Sniper still in the hand of Fiasco as he's now going to rotate around to plug the hole that is now left open by Crook's corpse. The rest of Kennesaw State off of that trade, it looks like they're going to approach this A side to see if they can get a plant down, but they have to be aware of Rouk's positioning. This is what Beloved was in exactly the same on their defense, where they were able to find both kills to shut down the plant. But it's going to be Fiasco this time. Must have nipped the edge of Outlaw to take that guy down.
Gets the snipe to be able to shut that down, and I thought that they actually had a really good opportunity to get the bomb down there, but not going to be the case. Now Gizmo needs to get aggressive through middle of the map, is able to get one, tie us up at a 2-2, but with 28 seconds left, you need to go, you need to get this bomb, and you need to find a way to get it down, but like you said, Fiasco's completely gotten out of dodge, and it is just leaving these players on KSU scrambling.
They have to hit the bomb, but Fiasco now has flipped the script in the whole map. Gizmo's hunting down Rack up he's not going to take him down. And the timing from the second one you said it, Jesse, just moments away from spotting Ralk for the trade. But St. Edward's cheeky spots. They just can never be found by these late game plays out of Kennesaw State.
These teams can't buy an offense right now, Colin.
They can't.
They really can't. The opportunity is there, and it's not able to fall. I think the main thing there for KSU is the fact that, you know what, they pushed up to A, and they were setting up the right way. They had a player sitting on the tank to watch and make sure the person on St. Edward's up in the top window wasn't able to be spotted exactly where you see Gizmo playing right now. And unfortunately, Crook again on offense will get caught out so quickly in the round, and Ralk's playing in his natural habitat in the back of the spawn once again.
I feel like Crook right now has some confidence on his shoulders that is unmatched by everybody else. But finally, Ralk's going to have a friend And immediately he's going to go back to being alone in the back of the spawn with a kill onto Beloved. Trades ring out from Kennesaw State. It's going to be a 3-on-2 in their favor. As bomb is still in the hands of Combat. He's sitting inside of Barn, waiting for Route to make a play. See if he can fish out maybe a kill, give a little bit more leeway for this bomb plant. But you can see the rest of the Owls, Jesse, they are giving absolutely nothing away. Oh, Combat, does he see him? Is he going to see him?
I don't think he saw him in that spot right there, so... Oh, but he gets eyes on Gizmo, can't find the kill. It's going to open up an opportunity for the other player to swing wide, and in doing so, Outlaw will find the kill onto Relk. Yeah, they have to know that he's pushing away to get this bomb down, but bomb will go down. He gets to push back and get inside of the tunnel as well.
So smart.
Oh, this is a full wrap.
They're going to have no idea. In behind enemy lines, Combat could have two right here, but Rose checks to his left, and he's going to find Combat running at him. Gets the win with the auto in hand, too, versus the submachine gun, and that's going to be plenty of time for the defuse. Another defensive round as we go back-to-back out of every single defense. 3-3 tie, Jesse, in the Bokosh. This is nothing like what we've got through the past KSU searches.
No, not at all, and it feels like Bokosh might just be their kryptonite right now on offense. It's a little bit hard to be able to win these rounds out, and it's been a struggle so far. And speaking of struggle, Kruk, I think Kruk needs to get a leash on him. Has fallen all 6 rounds and getting some very, very aggressive plays. It worked out in round 1, but it looks like KSU is fully expecting those aggressive pushes now, so might need to kind of cool it back on some of those plays there. But it looks like KSU, again, going to favor going towards this A site. The last round, they had a really good opportunity to get this bomb down. Unfortunately, got sniped out in the setup that they wanted. And Kruk again gets up like a slithering snake into an annoying position, finds first blood, and the leash comes into full tack, able to get away with his life.
He's just a slippery snake, Jesse. It's nothing you could say about him. Fiasco's going to find a second with a sniper. The boomstick finally getting put to work. It's going to be Gizmo on the receiving end. 3v2, now a 3v1. Beloved all alone. He's going to find the trade into Kruk. 1v2. Now looking to hunt for the rest of these players. He's going to hop up top attic. This is a very smart play from him. It's going to keep the Hilltoppers guessing on where his positioning is. But to find both of these kills, you look how close Fiasco and Combat are playing to each other. The trade, you have to be thinking, will be there. But Combat, he leaves. He goes onto the opposite side of the map. Not sure if you'd hear that door open, but he's going to be in a perfect place to find this. But they keep on passing each other, Jesse. The timing is horrid for Combat in these situations.
Oh, and
now Fiasco gonna spot him out, sniper in hand. It's right to the chest. St. Edward's Academy still keeping the pattern solid with defenses, and you have to be feeling, man, every single time Beloved's on screen, I feel like he's always getting the worst timing.
At that point, if you're Beloved, you just need to start to just trust your gut and just go with it. I mean, I know you weren't in the greatest situation there to get that bomb down, but a 1v2 playing it from that side, I feel like might be even a little bit easier than trying to get that bomb down over at the A side and playing a 1v2 sometimes. So it's just one of those things, again, hindsight, but unfortunately wasn't able to walk away with the round. And like you called, Colin, so far, still inside of this game, we're 7 rounds in, yet to see an offensive round win. We'll see if we can see one here. We'll be St. Edward's first team to push through, and look at this, Kruk, sorry,
Gizmo!
Not getting too aggressive this time.
Getting aggressive like Kruk. This time it's going to pay off. Gizmo with yet another first blood for Kennesaw State defense. Now it's going to force St. Edward's to make a play. Kruk on screen is going to get through Grandma's, find Rose with his gun in his pocket. The trade out of Beloved is going to keep numbers in hands of the Owls, as Kruk now looking to keep this one even. Beloved back turn, now down. Kruk is just on a mission right now, tearing things up. 8 and 7 on 2 in a row. Bomb's going to have to get recovered now from the Owls if they want to get it down.
Where's that bomb down at? Is it inside of Grandma's house, or is it on the outside? Yeah, so they have to find a way to get this down. They will be able to pick the bomb up. Kruk grabs it, but unfortunate timing. Gizmo shoots Kruk in the back. You'll have information on one player if you're Relk here.
Look at this.
And now Relk gets spotted out as well. This is not looking good here for St. Edward's.
He's doing 360s around the map. He's looking to put up a new phase montage with all these trick shots, but 11 seconds left. Not a whole long time to play with. You look at how far away Kennesaw State are from each other. Outlaw's going to walk right across them, so it's going to be a free kill. But 3 seconds left. There's nothing you could do. Gizmo's on the other side of the map, and you pre-fire all you want. He's not there.
Now, Colin, I have a question for you here. How much help do you really think that Relk has been in these offensive rounds, sitting so far back in the spawn? Because as soon as their breakoff goes poorly and they lose one, he instantly, every single offensive round, has gone back to the spawn and I think it's worked 1 out of 4 rounds where he's been able to
Well,
get the player
you can
trailing through.
tell.
I think it could be more helpful if he pushes forward and
I agree.
flies into A with the rest of his teammates and tries to play an even 3-on-3 on the site.
You can tell that at St. Edwards, they have an idea that the Owls, they're trying to flank them, but they haven't yet. They've just been taking it as it is, right up close and personal. You say this time around, Crook's going to get aggressive like he did in round 1. Finds 2 for the first and second blood of the round. And now that's going to put Kennesaw State in a really bad position for their offense. Outlaw, he's inside Grandma's. He is in a spot to find a trade, but I mean, the rest of St. Edwards Academy, they are nowhere in position for Outlaw to take a gunfight.
Yeah, Outlaw's not really in a great spot to really do much here inside of this round, even though he's got positioning inside of the other team's base at the for the most part here. And unfortunately, he will get spotted out. Or sorry, not him getting spotted out, but Gizmo will get spotted out. And now it's just Outlaw all by
1v4.
themselves. And another 1v4 here inside of this map. And Crook is running around frantically trying to find this player at the moment. Outlaw will find one. And, I was going to say,
Ooh.
I thought he was about to beam Crook there. And Crook was going to be able to fall for a 9th round in a row. But we'll break the curse. And we'll finally live to see the day through another round.
And Crook looks like he's taking the fitness gram pacer test. He is not letting go of his movement. Just back and forth through the round. Seeing if he can get from one side of the map to the other with new personal records each time. But Kennesaw State, they fall yet again on an offense. It's been the woes of Bokar Search and Destroy so far. And St. Edwards on map point. They can put this one away here, but they have to find an offense to do it, Jesse.
Worst part is that you don't guarantee yourself the offense, right, for those final rounds. So St. Edwards, with the kills that they have at the moment, I feel like they're guaranteed to get that final defense. So Kennesaw is going to need to be around here, and then if they want to win the game, they're going to need to find a way to win an offense as well.
1 for 1, still tucked away. He's going to be number 3, Rose. Early shots are going to give away his placings, but Fiasco, very smart play not to chase. He's going to take the wraparound. Gizmo's going to be here. Reads it perfectly, and a big kill from Fiasco. Now numbers over to the Hilltoppers, Jesse. They can put this away with a plant on B.
And KSU, they're kind of sitting over towards A still, thinking the bomb was going to make its way over there, but no, it doesn't. Bomb goes down at B. Now they need to play for a 2v3 retake to keep themselves alive, but St. Edwards are looking really good here in this round. A 1v3 again for Outlaw.
Again, it's Outlaw against the odds. Combat's going to spot him out, and St. Edwards up 2-0 in the grand finals. They finally get an offensive round, Jesse. They get aggressive. They get the job done. And you said it yourself. It's just a small adjustment from Relk moving through the map with his team to make it happen.
Took 10 rounds, Colin. 10 dang rounds. And then we finally get an offensive win. Honestly, it would have been kind of poetic if we ended up going to the round 11 and KSU ends up winning it out, because they were guaranteed the offense in that round 11. And if they ended up winning it out after seeing 10 straight defenses to finally take one offense, I feel like that would have been very poetic, but not the case. St. Edwards, they finally take an offense inside of the game, and it ends up being inside of that round number 10. They close it out with a nice 2-0 lead here inside of the series, and they've looked really, really good so far. I mean, very close maps, but they just have the ice at the moment.
And you are sent through a loop right now. If you're Kennesaw State, Jesse, you don't know what to do in this situation. You lose a search and destroy. This has been your recipe to success throughout the whole day so far on stream. And this is not a good sign right now for the Owls, Jesse. This is where they need to put their foot down once more. And in a double best of 5, now they're forced to reverse sweep just to get to the next best of 5. We take a look at the stats and tell me what's standing out to you.
It's Crook, and I know I said in the middle of that map that he needed to get a leash put on him, and I still stand firmly by that fact that Crook needed a leash. And I think that kind of came towards the end portions of the game, but the one big stat for him that stands out to me is the fact he was able to find 5 first bloods for his team. What that does for your team is insurmountable. I mean, huge plays coming in from Crook constantly. I mean, especially early in the game there, some of the routes that he was able to find very possibly could have been the reason St. Edwards was able to win so many of those early defensive rounds for themselves. So a great job done by him, and even better job done by kind of chilling out towards the end of that game and not so much giving up those first deaths in the later portions of those rounds.
Big things to turn around in the last 10th round of the search and destroy, Jesse, out of St. Edwards Academy. You were really harping on Relk in that round prior to that. about his play styles after they get first blooded on their offenses. Well, I was impressed with that last round that they had. Finally, they make a difference, or they make a change. Maybe they were, I want to say listening to you, but we all know that they weren't listening to you, Jesse. They're playing
Nobody
the game.
listens to me.
But maybe they heard it out of somewhere, a whisper in their ear, and they're just like, hey, maybe we should make that attack to the B site this time around. And it works out. At the end there, you can see Kennesaw State, they had the idea that St. Edwards, they were still going to push that A site, and they were very wrong.
Yeah, I guess I'm the devil on their shoulder, right? Telling them what they need to do there inside of that final round. But yeah, I did feel in those early rounds like Relk was having a hard time just kind of staying with St. Edwards in a lot of those rounds. And like you said, as soon as they got first blood, would just back all the way up to the spawn to make sure nobody was wrapping from KSU, hoping to find a pick. Wasn't really working. So in that final round, we get a lot more unison out of the St. Edwards boys. They hit towards B. KSU was not expecting that by any means. And that's how they win the round. And it was a very good round in itself. Only offense won of the entire game, and they walk away with a 2-0 lead. And we're going to go to a control next onto Tuscan, and that map could end up being really, really interesting. We've seen KSU play three controls, yet to win a control yet, but this is now the third different map. Maybe Tuscan's the answer.
And although it's a 2-0, folks, it's been a fantastic series so far. Now the Owls, they're looking for the reverse sweep to send it to a second best of 5. You're watching the CCL Academy League Grand Finals. After the break, we got a control. You don't want to miss it. Jesse, bone in or out?
If you eat bone-in wings, you are a child. That's or bone-out wings, you are a child. That's all I'm going to say. They are literally chicken nuggets, Colin. You cannot be eating those at your age. That's all I'm going to say.
I love them chicken nuggets. What can I say? Well, here's another one. Jetpacks or boots on the ground?
I mean, I feel like you know me, but for the stream case, it's going to be jetpacks. I am not a fan of boots on the ground. God, it's just way more fun. Come on.
You and I both. We're on that one. We're on that dual link right there. And for chat, I got one for you guys too. KSU or St. Edwards. I'm hoping those KSU fans are rallying out for this one because Control's up next. And this is where you guys really need to double down and start a reverse sweep because you don't only have to get through this best of 5, but you have a whole other best of 5 to take down if you want to be your grand final champions in the Academy playoffs. Jesse, I'm glad that it's going to be a Tuscan here to make it happen because this team has had such a fire to them inside of Controls.
Yeah, they really have. It's been really, really close for KSU to be able to win a couple of these control maps, but just haven't been able to get the job done, haven't been able to ice up. And what's funny enough, Colin, is that kind of feels like the story of our series so far. I mean, a 250-245 loss, barely losing, 6-4 loss in the Search and Destroy. Feels like icing up has not been their strong suit here so far, but if they can come out inside of this control, walk into Tuscan, take it away, that could very well just spell the start of a reverse sweep. But it's going to be a long road to winning a championship. Still need to win 6 maps and only have, 9 maps left or 8 maps left to go in our whole series if we get a reset. So they'll definitely need to find some success here. And it starts with this control on Tuscan.
Folks, Control and Tuscan, it's a fun fact. I mean, we've seen this KSU team on 3 different series now, and in the series, they've played 3 different Controls, Berlin in the winners final, a Gavatu in the lower final, and now a Tuscan in the grand final. Let's see if third time's the charm. As we hop into this first hill, it's going to be Combat leading the charge on the offense of St. Edwards. Immediately shut down by KSU. It's a clean 4 wipe, Jesse, as the first one to go down is going to be Beloved, getting aggressive through P5.
Now, you saw St. Edwards was looking to try to get aggressive through the command center. Not able to get the first one, but the last 3 players are now going to be able to push up. It's going to be Relk leading the charge. Will also end up falling, but what this does is it takes the KSU players, takes their attention off of A, gets them to wrap over towards B, and now you have an opportunity and an avenue to push your way into A.
And the rest of the Hilltoppers off the respawn. They get into the A zone now. First tick should be cemented. KSU a little bit hesitant on getting things going over the retake, but it looks like Oro is going to take a little peek. Early shot's not going to land. Gizmo, first blood into this. It's a 3-on-4 for the collapse. Outlaw in through the U. It's going to be Combat to go down, but an early trade. Oro's in for the contention. Finds one of his own. It's 1-on-1 here. Crook or Relk going to jump on up. Shut him down. He's going to be holding this one down for his team. Another one drops, and this should be the A zone gone.
It'll be a completely secured there for St. Edwards. But now comes the hard part. You need to wrap across the map, get inside a B, and Tuscan, I feel like, is the hardest map to be able to get the B zone on. So the fact that we really haven't seen too many teams today inside of the Academy playoffs even be able to grab an offensive win, I feel like it's going to be really, really hard for teams to be able to get this zone here. But you know what? We'll wait and see. Still a 6-life lead here for KSU. That's just going to make the life that much harder on St. Edwards.
Combat has wheels so far in the game 3. Doesn't have eyes on the back of his head, though, so Beloved will find the trade. Still kills favoring the Hilltoppers here. It's a 3v2 on the inside. Rose evens us up. And the close respawns for the Owls will be able to net them more lives into this hill for a better advantage for the retake. Although it's still a lot of noise here from St. Edwards, as Crook was able to hold that down for quite a bit. Not able to cement a tick of progression, Jesse, but he was able to hold back a lot of these KSU players from getting aggressive. And now you're looking at a quick 3 down. Fiasco a 4th. They're going to hop into this hill, stop the clock in a minute 15, and look to get this tick underway.
It was a good opportunity. They will end up getting 1 tick out of it, but unfortunately all the stuns, the nades, they all come through. They clean up a lot of the St. Edwards players, but the good thing for St. Edwards is that they've actually been able to take quite a bit of that life lead back, and now it's only a 1-life lead for KSU, which started at 6, and the second tick of progress comes through.
Gizmo, some poor timing. Combat's going to take him down. A second one out of Fiasco, and this is going to going fast. If you're player number 6, you have to touch the hill, and he doesn't get in time, Jesse. And St. Edwards, from A to B, it's like the alphabet, and they know it like the back of their hand. Fiasco's going to get the job done with some big kills up top in the final kill cam, and that's going to be a huge round 1 win.
Don't get it wrong. I still stand by my statement that I think that the Tuscan B zone is still the hardest zone to get in COD. But St. Edwards, with a 6-life deficit, made that look flawless. They took a few opportunities a few times to be able to get inside of that hit zone. But once they got inside of the B zone, they were lights out. They held it down so well. They shut down the KSU every time they tried to push in and stop them from being able to finish off that capture. And now if KSU was not on the back foot before, an offense going to St. Edwards off the rip here really puts them on the back foot now.
This team has been very close, constantly out of KSU for their offensive rounds inside control. It's a great break off with 2, make it 4 quick kills actually. Beloved's going to keep it flawless so far. This A zone, it is gone, Jesse. Just like that. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the board.
Well, they know they need to turn up, so they'll come out with a flawless start to the game here. Don't lose a single life through capturing that A zone, but as soon as they finish it off, a few will go down. Now they need to stabilize, group back up together, try to hit out towards B, and Beloved's just shooting through things right now, making sure there's not players hiding in corners, and unfortunately might not have been shooting the right corners. We'll finally get 1 here, but Combat's right there for the trade.
Oh, Combat. Oh, Combat. At least he finds 1. It's going to be a nade from Outlaw finally to take him down, and it should shut the door on the rest of this offense so far, as the rest of KSU are going to be sent to the respawn, Jesse. And 24 lives to 20. You still have a minute 41 to play with. I would like to see this team slow it down here and maybe find some picks to give them a little map control, but it seems like they're going to barrel right on out through command center into this chokehold that St. Edwards have. Crook's going to find 2, finally dropped by Rose, but I'm afraid that the damage has already been done. Combat's looking to clean up the rest of them as he's going to fly right on through command center into the spawns. Doesn't check to his right, and Outlaw will take him down, but it's going to be another shutdown of the KSU's attack.
What scares me so much for this KSU is it's like they've got a ton of time. They've got so much life lead here. But they had a big life lead on a defense and they weren't able to hold on to it. So how can I expect them to hold on to it on an offense here? And they absolutely won't. The life lead completely evened out. In fact, they're going to be down 1 now as Kruk finds another kill through middle of the map. And now a 1-life lead. KSU with only 50 seconds left, and they have not even gotten near this B zone yet.
The Hilltopper is so icy in the grand finals, Jesse. You know they know what's on the line here. And they're looking to make history in a 3-0 sweep in the second round. 15-15 in lives. Fiasco's going to keep numbers in the favor of the Hilltoppers. Ruck to double down. All Alone's going to be Outlaw inside a radio. Crook's going to shut him down. And all of a sudden, it's player number 8, Gizmo, the only one close to this hill to stop the clock. He will get on, but now 30 seconds left, Jesse, for KSU to find an offense.
And they're in a really, really tough spot here, trying to push their way through command center. And unfortunately, you've got so many players from St. Edwards stacked up inside. Can't find anything. Unfortunately, though, for St. Edwards, it looks like Rose has been able to slip the line, but one player slipping their way through, hopping onto B, will at least stop the clock. Will win a massive gunfight as well. This is a big opportunity for KSU to get on the hill.
It's a small chance, but a chance nonetheless. St. Edwards awake at the wheel.
Not a teammate.
Looking to get fired up into this hill. A teammate at Oro's, luckily beloved Outlaw and Gizmo have his back. It's going to be 3 kills the other way, but a second left into this hill. They're going to hop down, stop the clock, but it's just not enough, Jesse. Too shaken up from a teammate that they can't get it done when they're backed up against the wall. And now St. Edward's Academy are 1 round away from being your grand final champions.
They almost still stabilized even after that team nade to get that point. But imagine if they had the full 4-man unit on point to fight that out. Instead, they get a team nade, a very, very unfortunate team nade. And now KSU down horrendous inside of this series. They need to not only reverse sweep the control, reverse sweep the series. And St. Edward's, I feel like they just have KSU exactly where they want them right now. Relk will start the round off with 2 kills in a row. They can already hop onto A. They got to watch out for Outlaw on the flank, though.
Outlaw on the flank, he's going to find one that should turn the attention of the rest of your Hilltoppers, but they're just going to keep on trucking through the spawn. They're wrapping over to B. Combat's going to hop into the zone, stop the clock at a minute 12, pulls the attention out of St. Edward's, and Fiasco is set up in such a great spot. The only thing is the rest of KSU, they're going to rotate on through radio right into Crook, and as Crook shuts down 2, Gizmo a little bit in the danger zone. He's going to manage to find 2 of his own. Should shut down St. Edward's for now, but that was such a big chance for the Hilltoppers to take control of.
I love that heads-up attempt there from St. Edward's to fly through A, just say, hey, screw it. We don't even need to worry about A. Let's just wrap our way all the way through, go over towards B. You know what? They don't get anything out of it, but I love that they just kind of throw a little bit of a different plan KSU's way. Makes them stay on their toes, and now they're just able to hop onto A because KSU had to put so many resources into B. 2 ticks of progress already through. 3rd tick imminent at this point. It will come through, and it absolutely does now. You've got, what, 2 minutes on the clock, a 3-life lead, and you need to just find a break into B once again.
Well, Outlaws are able to find an exit kill, and Beloved takes down Fiasco, so weathering the storm on the snowball, they're not going to let it get going. St. Edward's back on the respawn, minute 42 to make this offense happen and put this away in a 3-0 sweep, both in the control and in the series, Jesse. They have a 1-life advantage, too. Plenty of time to work with.
Absolutely plenty of time to work with. More time to work with than they had in the last round. More kills or lives to work with than what they had inside of the last round. But KSU playing from a little bit of a different angle. It was looking good, but now 3 kills go down. St. Edward's, they find the kills they need. They push through. They get onto the hill. Now they just need to dodge the nade and Stunfest.
Well, Owl's a little bit shaken up. Now against the wall, can they make this happen? Tick 1 cemented. Relk firing up. He's going to snap to Outlaw as well. 8 in a row. Calling the glide bomb. You earned it. Last tick's going to be there, and they're stacking the point. This might be all over for the grand finals as St. Edward's Academy, couple seconds away from making it happen and cementing themselves in the history books of CCL as your Academy League grand final champions.
Wow, what a great grand finals from the likes of St. Edward's University. I mean, they came out in these grand finals. We thought they looked good in the winners finals, but they come out in the grand finals. They tighten up their game. They look even better than what they looked. It was a 3-1 in our winners finals. Well, the grand finals, they say, hey, you know what? Let's just do a little bit better than that. They come out a nice 3-0 victory over Kennesaw State University, who, by the way, played them extremely tight through maps 1 and 2. It was a fantastic series, but at the end of the day, there can only be one winner, and it's St. Edward's University.
Well, they said they were looking at the winners final back again. They looked at the lower final. They said, hey, you play these games close? Don't care, didn't ask. We're clutching up, we're taking it home, and now St. Edward's Academy in first place, $2,500 picked up. Let's take a look, Jesse, at the stats for that last game because they put on a clinic right in behind Relk, 26-11.
What's even more impressive to me, Colin, I mean, I know that's crazy, and that 9 streak was, by the way, what he finished the map with was a 9 streak.
He
and
did.
They took 2 offenses, like ridiculous stuff out of St. Edward's University. But what's even crazier to me is how deep this team's map pool was going into this. Like, you got to look at this from a standpoint of they took 6 maps off of a team that had not lost a series throughout the year. And they took 6 different maps between two different series. Crazy stuff. They took 3 different hard points off them. one different search, two different controls off of this KSU team, who again did not lose a series during the regular season. 16-0, had not lost a series all the way up until the winners finals, where they took their first L. Then they go to the grand finals and just repeat it back over. St. Edwards goes and they take it, and it's really exciting because this St. Edwards team now, because they've won Academy, they've got an opportunity to go for a two-peat as well with their main squad in the CCL land as well. So it's something to keep your eye on.
Can they double down in the history books? That's the big question right now throughout the CCL rest of the season. But when you look back at the maps of the series, Jesse, you are heartbroken as a Kennesaw fan because you look at that map 1 and 2 and you think how winnable it could have been in plenty of those search and destroy rounds. But in the hard point 250 to 245, it was neck and neck the whole time. They had a chance to win it too, but the ice out of St. Edwards, it is just so dominant throughout this grand final.
They just clutched up. Plain and simple as that. That map 1 absolutely could have gone KSU's way. St. Edwards, they broke back into Grandma's at the very end of the game. They said, no, you don't. We're going to be able to find a way to take this. They absolutely do. And then talk about Grandma's, talk about Bocage. They went back to it for map 2. St. Edwards looked abysmal on Berlin Hardpoint, or Berlin Search and Destroy during the winners final. So that had to have been the instant veto. I couldn't imagine that they wanted anything to do with that map. They get a Bocage instead. They win that one out 6-4. And then, like you said, that Tuscan control. I don't think that they could have played a better map than that. The fact they take 2 offenses, the defense was very convincing as well. A great stuff out of the St. Edwards Academy team. And honestly, championship, well-deserved. $2,500, well-deserved. And there you go. The 4 players, Rauk, Crook, Fiasco, and Combat, your 2022 Academy champions.
Give it up for the champs. History book has been cemented. St. Edwards Academy, they have activated inside of the College COD League. And now their opportunity to not only take home the chip in the Academy League, but the main league as well. And Jesse, I'm so glad we got to witness that because this St. Edwards Academy team, when we saw a lot of these players back in the CCL Vanguard kickoff tournament, we've seen them outside of the league as well, and we know how much or how good and strong these players are, and I couldn't think of a squad of 4 in the Academy League that deserved it more than these guys.
Yeah, I mean, what a great group of 4 players. They played their hearts out all season long. And like we said coming into this one, this team looks like a team that could rival a lot of our mainstay teams. So just keep that in your mind for the next year. You never know. You never know where these players could end up transferring to. You could end up seeing these names inside of the main CCL League next season. But nonetheless, an Academy champion and a very, very well-deserved Academy champion. They played great all the way through the playoffs.
I want to give a big shout out too to the rest of the teams who placed top 4. You got KSU Academy in 2nd place, Redbird COD in 3rd place, Brock University in 4th place, and they played so well today. Hats off to you guys. You deserve that top 4 placing. But that's going to be all for the stream tonight. It's going to be all for the Academy League, the College COD. These players, they played through the dark, in the shadows all year long, and a little bit of light was shone today on the rest of them. And I hope you guys enjoyed, but like I said, it's all for tonight. We can't wait to see you guys because the next time we see you, it might be on LAN. It's going to be an exciting one. We hope to see you there.